Hi everybody, Russ and my Amaz 11. Hope you're safe and well. If new channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon, yada yada yada. You know what we do. I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. We're lucky enough to get another X Hammer on the channel, which is amazing. And for those of you, obviously we got Mr. Frank. How you doing, Frank? How's things for you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm happy to be actually talking about all stuff West Ham and my time at West Ham, considering that I was there for 3 years, I think it was, and
yeah,
I didn't play many games, but I was a youngster at the time. I see a few names that you've spoke to already, big names that have done really well for West Ham. So a chance just to speak about West Ham, which I really loved, is I'm going to enjoy this one.
There you go. That's it. Thank you for today's episode. Yeah, no, as I said, Frank, he was only a pup. He was 17 when he joined us, and he said 3 years he was at the club. Arguably, those 3 years was an extremely ever-changing time at West Ham. I think technically in those 3 years, I think Frank played under 3 managers, a new owner, relegation and promotion.
Yeah, it was chaotic. Yeah, it was chaotic, mate. Honestly, I know we're going to get into a lot of stuff. Well, my time there, but it was more. It's like a blur, really, for me. Yeah. Even like looking back on it now, considering the amount of clubs I've been at after that. But today, I did try my best to try to remember a lot of things. So, no, it was a crazy time. But in the end, West Ham are where they are right now, and they should be in the Premier League. So that's the main thing.
Too right. And Frank's at Plymouth at the moment. You're doing all right, Plymouth at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, enjoying it. Yeah. Plymouth are a good club, good size club. So, yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Obviously, with the COVID stuff going on now, it's difficult for players, particularly in the lower leagues, to find a club somewhere and be stable. So, I've come off a couple of good seasons, in League Two and that. So to be in League One now with this team, we've got a lot of momentum on our side. So hopefully that can continue.
Yeah, and the family are okay and stuff like that since we've been in lockdown for you.
Yeah, the family here with me now in Plymouth, so
good.
That's the main thing, isn't it? Just keep everyone close. So
nothing
really changes for us as well. We've got 2 little kids, little girls, so they just go to school and stay home. So nothing really changes for us. We don't really have there's no time for us anyway. So I go train. Is at home at the moment.
The only thing that changes for me is not, which I quite like about lockdown in a way, is I'm a bit lazy when it comes to weekends, and if there's no football on, I'm quite happy to not have to be dragged to Lakeside or something like that. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I ended up at a garden centre at the weekend, and I think everyone in Southend and everywhere around there seemed to go to this garden centre because it was like an hour and a half to get in. It was like, why? Because like people were so clucking to do some shopping.
Yeah, some people need any excuse in it to just go do something.
Yeah.
For me, I'm quite happy to be home, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
so,
me too. No, it's
good.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. And as I said, it's funny with you, Frank. It's like I always keep an eye out for some people go and like you and Zavon and people like that. I always kept an eye out where you were when you're at your other club. So obviously you're at Colchester for a while, then you went to obviously Plymouth. So it's great, and obviously he's bagged a couple of goals this season, and it seems to be going away.
We're still ticking away, so it's good.
Yeah, still ticking away.
Still ticking away. I feel like I've been in the game a long time, so.
Well, you have,
yeah, I have, exactly. So for me I still feel like I've got a lot of powers within my body to do well. So, it's good that I've found a club like Plymouth to try to showcase my talents. I think we were on the telly the other day as well, so it was good. It's going well for me, mate.
Good. That's good to see. And as we said, you joined when you were 17, and and you were at Chelsea for like since you were like under 12s or whatever. And famously, obviously, that you turned down the contract offer from Chelsea to join West Ham. Yeah. Why, Frank? Why did you choose us instead of Chelsea?
It's pretty easy, really. At the time, I was coming through at Chelsea. Really enjoyed my time there, coming through the ranks, playing an age group above every year. So I was really doing well.
Sure.
So to be offered a deal, I think there's about 6 or 7 English lads that were left in the youth team. Because you have to remember, at this time, this is the start of when the foreign players were coming through in the youth teams. So at Chelsea, we had like 6 or 7 French players, German players who were really talented and highly rated. And for us to still be in that group, it just showed that we were doing well as well. So I got offered a deal, and the 6 other lads who were English lads with me, my youth team, who I come up with, they never got offered anything. So I was a bit like, okay, I feel a bit like the chosen one, but at the same time, where's the last person that has come through at Chelsea to, go on and do big things? That was literally my conversation with my dad and my mates. That it was John Terry. Yeah. So, and I see a few older lads like Jimmy Smith, and I think Michael Manson was there. A few other players who were older than me, a bit 3-4 years older than me, but I was playing with them in the reserves at 15. So I was thinking to myself, they're really good players, but they're not going to get a sniff. And Jose Mourinho just came, and the pressure was on to win the title straight away, big money, Roman Abramovich, all that kind of stuff. So, and the youngsters at the time weren't getting paid, the money that the youngsters are getting paid now. I'm not going to be. I'll be honest with you. If I was going to be offered the money that kids are on now at them clubs, I would have stayed.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah,
it's life-changing money for your family and stuff like that. So, but for me, it was just about going out there and just play football and try to get as close as I can to a Premier League game. That's what every kid wants to do: play football. And when West Ham came along, which it actually came quite late, so I was about to sign the deal at Chelsea. Then, even though I was going back and forth with them, I said no. And then they came back with another 2 more years added to my contract at Chelsea. So it was 4 years pro and 1 year scholarship with Neil Bath. And I said I was about to go sign, and then West Ham came along. Zola had come and trained with us a few times at Chelsea, and seen me train with the first team and reserves. And Steve Clark as well was obviously in the deal as well. So. No, yeah, as soon as West Ham came, it was a no-brainer, really. In my head, it was another massive club. There's a club also that I felt quite fond of, because in our youth team days, we used to beat them a lot. I used to score a lot of goals with them. So I thought, what, if I go over there, then at least, I already have a good feeling of a club that I feel like, it's somewhere I can go and do well.
Sure.
I ended up going to West Ham.
Yeah, and that was in the July, and then obviously you made your Premier League debut in the August, wasn't it, that year? So
yeah. I did,
Wolves, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think my first game was
Wolves, wasn't it?
Arsenal. I think it was Arsenal. I played in the cup.
Yep.
I started in the cup game. It was on telly, BBC, I think it was, and I think we drew or lost that game. I'm not sure, but Diamante scored.
Yeah,
he went through and goal, and he could have squared me the ball. I was fuming. I remember that moment. I thinking to myself, because goals change careers, right?
Totally.
Look at Freddie said, right? He scored in his debut. I mean, I would never be forgotten about that. I rated him as a player, so regardless of that, but he still, that kept him, give him another chance and another chance and stuff like that. So for me, I wish he passed me the ball for the goal. But anyway, we went at 1-0, and I think it was 1-0 when I come off. So I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna get a replay. Zola's really looked after the youngsters. I might get a chance to play at the Emirates they were at now.
Yeah.
But then they made a few changes. I think Fabregas come on and they scored a late goal. But then, later on, come on against Wolves, which was obviously a very proud moment in my life. Just coming on there. I think we won the game as well.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0, So, I come on in that game. And, I just remember Mark Nouble just telling me to relax. Even if you come on for 2 minutes, just embrace it, run around. And I think I touched the ball maybe twice as well in that time. So I was buzzing,
Yeah, that's what I mean. As you said, your dream was to play Premier League football, and at 17, you're now playing. You've played a Premier League game. For a lot of people, people would die to be in that position. But and you're right. I think Zola, and I think that's the trouble, wasn't it, with Zola? Zola was very much about bringing the kids through and stuff like that. And then obviously he goes, and then you get Grant and Allardyce in, who, no respect to them, it's more about experience than youth for them, weren't it? And so it was like for you, it was like you ended up going on loan quite a bit. And
exactly. Yeah, it was difficult because Zola. It was quite emotional when Zola left, really, for me, because he gave me my debut, and he tried to give the young players a chance. Like we had Payne was around then, Zavon Hines, Junior Stanislas, these boys, James Tompkins, Jack Collinson, all these boys were coming through and doing well for West Ham.
Yeah,
and mainly the fact that Zola wanted to give us a chance and play. I think that year we survived. Did we survive that year? We survived that year. The first year was Zola. Oh, my first year was Zola. Sorry, his last year. But then obviously he resigned. So it was devastating. Really, went to his house, and it was a sad moment really for me and my family. Because in my head I was thinking, this is my break, and this is my guy that's going to help me, push me. And he was great. He used to train with us, the best trainer you could see. at a 40-year-old, he was one of the best players at the club.
Yeah.
Still at that age. So no, it was unbelievable for him. But then Avon Grant came, which was a car crash in itself. The boys didn't know what. I was a youngster then, and I went alone a few times that year, but I could just sense how the unease at the club.
Yeah.
It was a difficult time. I don't mind saying that at all. It was a difficult time, and obviously the club got relegated that year. So overall it was a bad year.
It was.
It was a bad year. Bad year, and for a youngster that was in that change room or in and around it sort of thing. I'm watching some of the boys like, the Scott Parkers and the Mark Nobles and the leaders in the group, Carlton Coles and stuff like that. I could just see even their enthusiasm was drifting as the month was going on, which you find difficult because I used to like lean on someone like Mark Noble to come cheer me up every morning, even though I wasn't really good. But he's the one that he made me feel relaxed to want to be around the first team. In them days, even with him, I could see. Like you just see the club not going in the right direction, and obviously it turned out on the results in the end, didn't it? So they got relegated. Yeah,
and you're right. I mean, you said that the players get a sense, and obviously from the young players seeing the experienced players looking frustrated, it's only going to rub off on you guys, really, isn't it? To be fair, so
it is.
Yeah.
He only spoke. I can't remember him speaking. To be honest with you, I can't. I don't know what kind of manager style he had, but it was something definitely different to anything I had. I was a kid, obviously. The older boys can maybe vouch for what they thought their experience was, but he was a bit of a weird one. If I'm honest with you, it was difficult. And again, like I said, the results showed on the field that eventually we went down. So Big Sam had to come in and rejuvenate the group.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and results don't lie, don't it? At the end of the day, the teams that go down the bottom are the ones aren't get relegated as a team. So
it weren't due to lack of quality either. I think the team itself was definitely a mid-table team. It just it just weren't working. Yeah, it just weren't working. I mean, we signed some good players. I mean, I think Demba Ba was there when he scored a few goals. Like good players. It just weren't working.
Shows you, doesn't it? It just shows you how important the manager is to a team. You can have. I mean, we went down with a team that was never going down on 42 points with like Defoe and players like that in 2000. So anything's possible. But it just shows you the managers make such a difference, and so that's why I quite like the way West Ham are set up at the moment now. With Moisey, he seems to have a little bit of more of that workman attitude. He's not flamboyant. He's not a flashy manager, and I think we sort of need that at the moment. So
I think he's a good leader though. So he's a good leader, and that's quite important as a manager. If you're going to hire someone, you need to be comfortable that this guy can, sort of run the dressing room, but also have some sort of charisma with him. And I think maybe David Moyes does have that. And he commands respect. So I think that's doing well.
Yeah, I think he does, and I think the players respect him, and that's really important. And the background staff as well. You said with Zola, you had Steve Clarke, and Steve Clarke was such an influence on you as well. And like at West Ham now, you've got people like Stuart Pearce, and Alan Irvine, and Kevin Nolan. So you've got some good players, good people around you. And I think that's really important. But and it's a shame because obviously. I mean, what's it like for a kid like yourself? Obviously, you broke into the Premier, played the Premier League. It's like, and then like. What's it like being sent?
I've got a little squirrel over there.
Hey. Oh, I can see. Hello.
Can you leave alone, please?
She's back from school.
Mummy, can you get Naya, please?
Oh, she's cute.
All right,
Naya, what a beautiful name.
Yeah, she's cheeky.
Yeah, mine's still at school. I've got to pick her up from after school club in a bit. So
all right.
I'll leave her after school club till 5.
Repeat that again.
No, I was just going to say, like, obviously, you break into the first team, you get some games, and then obviously everything happens. And what's it like for a kid being sent out on loan? Because obviously, I mean, that 3 years, I think you're on loan, was it 7 different clubs or something like that?
Yeah.
What's it like for you? Because obviously, mental well-being and all that stuff is really topical. What was it like for you as a developing player?
It was it was very difficult. Looking back at it now, like I wouldn't wish that upon another youth team player or young player below 21 to go on loan so many times. But at the time, maybe I wasn't getting advised as well as I should have been. But football it's all about generations. So I think at the time it's just about just trying to showcase what I could do,
Yeah.
and not trying to bide my time really. Just trying to show the manager at my current club that listen, I'm ready to be in and around the first team.
Yeah.
And I weren't content with just training.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go out there and play. Some of the
Mm.
loans worked out, some of them didn't, but it went for the lack of wanting to do well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was difficult. And even when I went on loan, I never had any aftercare, or in terms of like someone reporting back to me, seeing how Frank's doing. Is he doing well?
Sure. Yeah.
Why didn't he play this week? Because now, as an older player, I hear players that come on loan, they're getting phone calls every week from their club, finding out what they've done, if they're doing well, and why is he not playing, or they're forcing them to play. Whereas me, it was like, all right, you're going on loan, we'll see you back in 2-3 months or whenever it is. And I just dealt with my own devices. Really, I went on loan. I just tried to be a man at that young age, 18, 19.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was difficult. I was going to some change rooms where, as an older player now, when I see youngsters come in the change room, I always try to welcome them in and make them feel at home. At that time, it wasn't the case. So it was always like, you're fighting your way in. Oh, you're the West Ham boy. You think you're better than everyone else, stuff like that. So I quickly found, the hardship of football quite a young age. But I don't regret it at all. Actually, it's actually made me the person I am today. So
exactly, it's toughened you up.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I've had experiences. So
yeah. And you get, as you said, you can impart them on young. I mean, you're hardly an old man, Frank, but you could impart them on the younger. You said the younger guys coming on loan, and obviously I know now, like Konchesky, he's like one of the loan guys, and he's the one who phones up at play. But yeah, it's interesting to see him like back then. What was he? 8 years ago, something like 9 years ago.
Yeah,
didn't have that, and it's just it's bad.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Obviously, let's say I went on loan, one of the loans. Let's say I scored a hatful of goals or loads of goals.
Yeah.
Obviously, then it's like, okay, Frank's done really well. Now he's pressurizing his club, but that's not the end goal of a loan. A loan is meant to be going out there so you can gain some experience and come back to your club and hopefully showcase what you can do when you come back. It was like I was out there trying to be on a shop window. So I felt a lot of pressure, but at the same time, like I said, listen, I learned a lot of things out there. So it's all good.
Exactly. But when you were at West Ham, you played in the famous Millwall game.
Oh, what a crazy game.
Now, obviously, for those of you,
talking about that with you, that's crazy, mate.
For those of you who don't know the game, obviously it was we played Millwall. I think it's the last time we played Millwall. It was last time, obviously, at the old stadium. We were 1-0 down after 26 minutes, and Frank came on, and you set up the equaliser, actually, didn't you?
Yeah, I did,
I think we scored in like the 89th, and then the 9th, like, in 2 goals in extra time. But it was marred with crowd trouble. That's what I would call it.
Honestly, the day itself was obviously crazy with the unfortunate news with Jack.
Of course, yeah.
It was already a crazy start to, but even before the game, the manager was telling us, look, don't drive your cars in because the Millwall fans might take your reg, and God knows you don't want people following you home and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we got on a coach from a hotel, might have been in Canary Wharf, and went to the game. Obviously, as a youngster, I live near Millwall, so my family, we grew up in Deptford, Lewisham, so it's quite near the Millwall area, and my school was actually like 5 minutes from the stadium, my secondary school. So I know the rivalry. I knew it from young. So actually, to be involved in the game, I was buzzing. I couldn't wait for the game.
Yeah.
I was thinking that this is a chance, then a division below, or maybe League One. I'm not sure what league they were in, but there's a chance for a few of us, like Junior, Zav, Jack, all of us, to just showcase what we could do, hopefully. But obviously, the game was just mad. Like, I was on the bench, and I heard there was trouble in the crowd, and that someone might have been attacked or stabbed in the back, like behind me, a few seats behind. So I was thinking, well, that's just not what you want to hear when you're on the bench. But that just showed you how the anxiety of the game was. And obviously coming on and then getting the win, and Zavon scoring, and Junior, I think Junior scored as well.
He scored.
It was unbelievable. Then obviously I got confronted with a fan.
I saw the picture again. I googled the picture. It's like some bloke about my size, literally my size, like like looking at you. I
didn't know whether it was a Millwall fan or West Ham fan, to be honest with you. So
hit those shirts, you couldn't tell, could you?
My stance was like that, like put my hand in front of him, just see what he wanted to do. But he gave me a cuddle, and then we ran off the pitch. But the main thing is that we won that game, because that would have been murders if we lost that game.
And it was also because because of Jack as well, because of his dad, and you know, and
Yeah, exactly. We had to win that for him, and you know, there's no word that can describe how he felt anyway. So
no,
I think I don't know. We didn't know what to say to him, to Mercy, on the day.
no,
So it was difficult, but we
no,
won the game, and
yeah.
yeah, it just made everything a little bit better to win that game. And it was it's a derby, isn't it? I wish that game was a Premier League game because that would be fun to watch.
It would be fun to watch, wouldn't it? Yeah, fun to watch. One they hope would be behind closed doors at the moment, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
COVID took me a good time if Millwall won a Premier League now, wouldn't it? So
could you imagine?
yeah,
It's like every time a cup draw happens, it's like, oh god, please don't be
I know.
Millwall. I was
I
the
know.
safest place. I was up next to the announcers box was next to the police control room. So
Okay.
I was up up top. I was fine. I was just watching everything, and then I could
Yeah.
see all the police videos, you know, the screens where all the trouble was outside and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was mental. Even the chants and that, oh, it's crazy. Neil Harris was there for them. Like, it was just, you know, it was a good game to be involved in. Just put it that way.
yeah. Yeah, it's one to tick off the bucket list, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
So, yeah, when we interviewed Jack, he was saying, yeah, because obviously he told the boys he was going to play, and I think when he scored, I think Zav went up to him and said, "That's for your dad," and
yeah,
that set him off. That almost set him off, bless him. But
yeah, cool.
yeah, and then there's a picture of there's a picture of Ben, you know, the operations director, like hugging him, and the other bodyguard as well. And yeah, it was a very, very, very strange time. But as you said, it was
very strange, very strange.
yes,
very emotional as well.
No, yeah, definitely, particularly because you know everyone's together. I mean, that must have been like the dressing room. Obviously, you got people like Scott Parker, and you got people like Mark Nouble. You were there with, and Colton.
Yeah.
A lot of banter going around. It must have been a bit of a
unbelievable change. For me, when I was coming through at West Ham, it was unbelievable because there's a lot of English players, British players there, and even the foreign players that came over, they all indulged in the West Ham like kind of fighting spirit sort of thing, and how the club was run, you know, and even the academy and all the coaches. Kev King was there, you know, Tony Carr, you know, these legendary names at the club. So no, it was brilliant, really. Even off the field, you know, the boys looked after the youngsters. You know, if there was a party going on, all the youngsters would be invited. You know, and they looked after us. Like, no, on a serious note, it was a very good core to the group, I'd say.
Yeah, and yeah, that's always been the way when we've interviewed players, ex-players. They said the same thing. You know, it doesn't matter what sort of era they've come from. There's always a really good core of people, and that's what you need, particularly for young players. What you need, man, isn't it? Because you need that sort of experience.
What you need, and I wish that the only wish I had now would be that I came through now with that core now. You know, as much as how the young players are pushed in the Premier League, and you know, it's all about young players now, isn't it? You see England teams and stuff like that. They're pushing to do really well. You know, I think at the time people like Zavon was playing on the 21s football, and if he was playing in this era, you know, them players would have been pushed even more to do really well. You see what Stanislas has gone on to do. He could have been a West Ham player for years on years. He's another youngster that thought he needed to go somewhere else and to get some more game time. So even Tomkins should be a West Ham legend. He should still be there. But you know, it's just different times in different areas. Life is all about timing, isn't it? So
it's you
know, some things happen for a reason, don't they? So different paths for everyone. But yeah, no, great times.
Yeah, good. Right. We've mentioned a few players, and it's like obviously the whole point of this show is called My Hammers 11. So the idea is everyone we get on, whether it's a fan or an ex-player, we get them on to do their 11. So for you, for the ex-players, it's the players you've played with. So we can say across those 3 years, the players you played with, and you know, we can play whatever formation. We can keep it simple, 4-4-2. You can play yourself, Frank, to get your appearances up.
Oh yeah, could do that. Yeah. No, so, you know what? I actually wrote down some names just because I forgot a few players in the squad, but some of the squads I was involved in, when I was there, there's not some unbelievable names. Just a lot of them weren't in their prime, so it's quite frustrating. It's quite frustrating.
They really are, Frank. They really are in their prime at West Ham. Get people like you at the beginning of your career, or get people like Teddy at the end of his career. You don't get those ones in the pomp.
No, you don't. You don't.
You get the bookends.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was thinking, we had Benny McCarthy at the club. We had what's his name, Bomote at the club. Players like that, like Hitzelsberger. These players, we just didn't have them at their prime. Benrahma, all these players, like we had some great players. All right, cool. So
let's go in goal. Go on, let's go in goal first, mate.
I'm gonna go with Rob Green because he was the ever-present number one when I was there, and he played for England. So, and he was a good character as well. keepers are quite weird. So he was a very weird character as well. But I loved his weirdness.
Yeah, he's
So
a funny
probably,
man. Yeah, no, he's a good, and he comes up a lot when we interview the player, because he's just so unusual. He wasn't like your typical keeper, like you said.
No, he's a bit, he's different, but I loved him. He looked after me and a lot of the young boys as well, actually. So he's a great lad.
Brilliant. Yeah, lovely guy. I hope we'll put Greeno in. Go on.
Yeah.
Let's go for left back.
All right, left back. Yeah, left back it's difficult because Wayne Bridge was there when I was there as well. Bridgie was there. Again, he wasn't at his prime, but he was still a good player. I had a Lunga there as well. I really rated because he actually took me under his wing in terms of like just trying to be a responsible young man. He was there, and we had McCarthy as well. Who was there.
Yeah,
George.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. But I'm gonna go for Lunga just because he looked after me. He took me on his wing, so I'll go for him.
Good, Rita Lunga.
Yeah,
he was brilliant. Bit crazy, crazy eyes. He had really crazy eyes. Intense eyes.
Yeah, he's a bit scary. That's probably why I liked him. I got on with him because he put me a few times. But he was a great lad. Just unfortunate, a few injuries. But when he played and was on fire, he was basically unplayable. Like when no one could beat him, strong and just played it simple, really. So good lad.
Yeah, good lad. All right, well, let's put him left back. Let's go right back. Let's go the other side. Who we go right back then, Frank?
Yeah, Julian Faubert. I'm going to go Julian Faubert. Just because he played for Madrid and he had unbelievable cars. He's what a character, what a guy, really. And had an unbelievable cross on him as well. So I'm going to put Julian Faubert in there. Just because, again, the person he was an unbelievable character.
Yeah. And he was another one with injury. When we'd signed him, and I remember he was the first player. You know, when you sign or someone gets linked with a club, with your club, you do the whole YouTube thing and go and look at his clips. Yeah. He was the first one I remember doing that, and he was like, "Oh my god, this guy is rapid." And then we sign him, and he does his Achilles in, and then that's it.
I know. He had so many injuries and a lot of muscle injuries as well that held him back a bit, but. When he was on Blob, he was really, really good. So I'll pick him.
Yeah, nice bloke. Right, go on then. Let's go centre half. Who's your first centre half then? Centre back.
I'm gonna go Gabardon. I'm gonna go Gabs. Just because the bloke could do anything. Like he could run with the ball. He could outrun his striker. He could be strong, good in the air. Just good at everything, really. Read the game well. Great lad. Good leader as well. Honestly, he had everything. Again, I probably didn't meet him at his peak of his powers, but what I saw was enough for me to say when he's playing, I feel comfortable.
And a DJ as well, you know. With his
I didn't know that until last year.
He hasn't done much since the second lockdown. I'm really disappointed. It was great background noise.
Yeah, I see that.
His roof.
I see that. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a nice guy. Right, we could put Gabs in. Who's Gabs going to partner in the middle in that centre back position then?
It was between Tompkins and Winston Reid.
Yeah.
Upson was there as well, but I'm going to go for Winston. I'm going to go Reedy, just because for me, obviously, I love Tonks. I wish Tonks stayed there and played a lot of games. But Reid, just because. I felt like he had a little bit more in terms of his physicality. He could run anyone, unbelievable in the air. Again, another one of injury. He had a bad injury, so it kind of held him back a bit. But I think when he's on Blob, he could play with any centre half in the Premier League. He could be comfortable. So I'll go Winston Reid, but it was a tight call between them two.
Yeah, and bless him. He's playing well for Kansas at the moment in MLS. So might come back. He might come back, man. January.
Winston he's definitely up there for me, and he was quite young when he signed as well. So we kind of got along well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right, let's go into midfield then. Left. So we play for left midfield. Is that what you got set up?
Yeah. We'll play 4-4-2. I'm gonna go. Nice. I'm gonna go Victor Obina.
Victor Obina. Do you know I've got to type that one in? That's the first one for Victor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Victor Obina. Well, yeah, because when I was there, he was he was always a goal threat. Always a goal threat. He loved the chop and strong as an ox. But yeah, just the season that I witnessed him, it was always a goal threat. And for wide men, I don't think we were blessed with wide men that were prolific anyway at West Ham. But we had youngsters like Junior was coming through, and but we didn't really play wideman when I was there in my 3 years. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Victor Urbina. I thought he was.
And again, that didn't really help you out not playing with widemen, innit?
No,
to
I
be
didn't.
honest, for your game.
It's frustrating because I thought, at that time, obviously, I'm really quick. I'm a youngster that at Chelsea, I played wide a lot as well. So coming to West Ham, it was like you need to try carve your game into a Carlton Cole type style, which is a bit frustrating for me because thinking, well, Carlton's just a different player to me. He has his great at a lot of things, but it's just a different player to me. So, it was a bit frustrating. But again, like I said, Victor was a big threat, so I'm going to put him wide.
Yeah, great. That's a great shout. I forgot Victor a bit. That's why I loved in this show because you get these round like Victor was brilliant. He was so exciting, so unpredictable. Right, who's going to go on the other wing, on the right wing then?
Right wing, I'm going to go Alessandro Diamanti.
Oh, this is a great team. Loving this team.
I'll go Alessandro Diamanti just because one, if we had a free kick anywhere, I trust him to produce something magical, and he just had unbelievable. You're probably the best technician I've played with at West Ham. Just because the left foot was a joke. Honestly, he could find the corner of the corner. Like he was just unbelievable at finishing. And again, when he was on blob, when he was on fire, he was actually unplayable. So I'm going to go Diamanti.
Brilliant. He's a great player. He was, and again, he was a bit crazy, wasn't he, as well? So
he was like a Payet sort of player, sort of thing. Like he could produce magic at any moment. And obviously Payet was a bit more of a better player, but Diamanti is similar kind of player.
He had that sort. He was like the sort of Venn diagram of Payet and Di Canio. He was like in the middle.
He had
that craziness. Yeah, I loved him.
His hair was all over the gaff. Do you know what I mean? I loved it.
Right, brilliant. And he played because he went to China, same as you, didn't he? So, what was it like playing in China, man?
Mental. The culture difference was crazy.
Yeah.
Even going out there, it was a random call that I got during the summer. I just left Ipswich, and I got the call, and I thought, I'm 24. If I'm ever going to experience abroad, let me go for it. Now I went there. The stadium was filled, 50,000 seater stadium. Everyone in there. I thought, you know what? This is a thing I'm going to regret not doing. So I went out there.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'll talk about that. We need another hour, so that was crazy.
Yeah. We'll keep that one if we need any content later on. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's go central midfield. Who's going to be your first centre midfield then?
Central midfield, is quite easy, really. Yeah, we've got Mark Nouble in there.
Yeah.
Just because he nicked my last name, so I'm going to let him go in there. Noble is unbelievable, really. Another one that was a great character, led by example. In training, I used to love training with him just because he always used to try and megs me, and I'll try and megs him back as well. He used to do 1-2s around me and go, "Oh, Frank, where you going, son?" Like he used to make me laugh every day. Proper fella. He is Mr. West Ham as well. I don't ever want to see him badly spoken about him. He loves the club to bits. So if he does say anything and do anything, it's for the club.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're right. I mean, he's and I can hear him saying that as well. When you say, Frank, you can just hear it. He's like he's Cockney twang. Mr. West Ham. Right. Okay. Nobes is in. Who's he going to partner them in that
Scott Parker. Scott Parker.
Nice, strong.
Yeah, Scott Parker. Yeah, the most consistent player I played with at West Ham.
Sure.
Or I witnessed at West Ham. He was the most consistent. But I don't even need to say much more than that. Really, He's just consistent, really. He played a 6 or 7 out of 10 every game, mostly 7s. He had this turn on him. He used to turn on a sixpence all the time in midfield. No one could get the ball off him. I think Xavi used to do it as well, but obviously Scott being English and quiet, and no one would ever notice what he was doing. But he was a unbelievable player, and he just wore his heart on his sleeve, really. So good lad.
Yeah, top guy. And Colton talks about that West Brom game where they were 3-0 down. And he gave the team talk instead of Avram Grant, and he was all crying, and they drew 3-3. So there you go. Right, okay, up front, Frank. Who are we gonna have up front? Who's your first striker?
My first striker is I'm gonna play 2 up front, just one behind the main striker. So I'm gonna go Kevin Nolan.
Nice.
I've never seen a player score so many goals in training.
Really?
Honestly, everything. He used to score off his bum, elbow, head, like shin it in. Like it was just unbelievable. I just couldn't believe he always used to find the right areas on the pitch. And obviously his career shows that he scored a lot of important goals for West Ham in that promoted season and then scoring some goals in the Prem. Obviously for Newcastle and Bolton, yeah, like obviously fantastic career. But I'm gonna go Kev, Big Kev. Yeah, Big Kev. Yeah, he's an unbelievable player and character as well.
Yeah, top guy, and it's nice because like you watch the team now, and where Kev used to do that thing where he used to like stand on the toe of the goalkeeper at the at a corner. Mikel Antonio's doing that now, so it's it's almost like he's imparted.
Yeah, he's obviously giving some tips and that, doesn't he? So
Antonio hasn't done the chicken dance yet as a celebration. That's too easy.
No, I know he's done a few dances, don't he? No, Big Kev's got to be in there.
I reckon Kev's got that. I reckon Kev's got that dance trademark. That's why. Right. Okay. Who's gonna spearhead this attack then, Frank?
Carlton Cole. Yeah, Carlton Cole's gonna be up front. I've never seen a guy like jump and fall down so many times for headers and kind of chest it down and still do it for 90 minutes. Take the battling and the bruising. And then he used to score a lot of worldy goals as well. He used to score a lot of his goals. If they weren't tappings, there would be like a strike from distance or a volley or stuff like that. And he had that in his locker. So I'm going to go Carlton Cole. One, for his longevity at the club. And two, he could play the lone striker really well for the club. So at the time, for me, he was at his prime then. And he obviously got England call up as well while I was there. So I'm going to go Carlton.
Brilliant, yeah, and that's funny. And as you said, he's still in with the club and stuff. So and that's what's important at the moment because it's nice to have that sort of he said people like Kevin's, it's still Zavon's obviously involved in the kids as well.
Yeah. I mean, Carlton Cole gets it, but he's lucky though because if Benny McCarthy was in his prime, it would have been Benny. If it was John Carew in his prime, it would have been John Carew.
Yeah,
we had some names down there, but Carlton was the main one that always if he was fit, we played him, and he did score enough goals for us to do whatever we wanted to do. So Carlton.
Cool, man. Yeah, cool. Frank, man, it's been lovely chatting to you, bud. It's been lovely. Man. I don't want to keep you much longer because your kids are here, and that's what. It's
fine, man.
Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate having me, mate, and keep doing what you're doing. It's really good.
Man. Thank you to everyone that's watching. Hope you stay safe and well. Like, share, subscribe. Anyway, from me and Frank, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.